Folks, we are headed into the dawn. Into the dawn. I'm going to do another cult classic here. I also consider it one of the greatest films of all time. But this is the truest of the cult classics. If there was any truer, I don't even know, first of all, if truer is a word. But I can tell you this. If there was anything that was truer than this, I guess it is a word because I've used that before, then it would not exist. This is the only movie, with the exception of maybe King Kong. If you want to consider that a cult classic, that would be a stretch, but not an unreasonable stretch. But for you, I'll make that exception. So if you want to consider King Kong a cult classic, then it is better than this one. All right, so let's take a look at where it is here. All right. What do I have? Old Yeller. Or Naked Lunch, I'm sorry. Oh, Old Yeller is such a depressing movie. God, who wants to watch a dog being shot? That's the climax of the film. Look, we're going to take away your right to believe in something good. Can I find this, please? Can we move on? Can we move on? Hold on. I'm just trying to find it here. I don't think it would be in the 20s. I don't want to put a no on 20. No, I did not. So there you go. Captain Dr. Caligari. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Oh, Naked Lunch. 47 on the top 100 films of all time. 47. I need better special effects for this show, but too damn bad. I ain't paying for them. Kiss my ass. Free special effects online. Jeremiah is too good for you. All right, so why is this? First of all, this is a cult classic. Its name is The Naked Lunch. But why is it considered 47? Well, that's a whole different story. I would have to put that on cigarette burns. I want to talk about its cult classic appeal first. And then maybe, just maybe, if you ask real nice, I'll put it on cigarette burns. All right. Naked Lunch is a fantastic movie. It's a fantastic book, too. But you won't understand the book because I didn't understand the book. It's not saying that I'm better at reading than you, but I do have a master's in English, so I hope I am. And thirdly, not secondly, because there was no second. There's only first and third. And thirdly, what was I saying? Something about, oh God, what was I saying? Why was it? I don't remember. But anyway, the book was good, but it's unreadable. Because the guy was on heroin when he wrote the book, and he doesn't remember even writing it. It was only Jack Kerouac that told him to just publish it, and he even gave him the name for the book, which was Naked Lunch. So thank you, Jack Kerouac. But why is the movie so good? If the book is unreadable, Jeremiah, well, why should we watch the movie? Well, because it's really good. Again, this is not a kids' movie. Almost all the films that I recommend in cult classics, with the exception of maybe a handful, are not kids' films. These are what we call adult films. No, not pornography. That's a different subject. I'm talking about adult films. Films for adults. Okay? These are films for rational, learned human beings. This basically is kind of like a metaphysical statement about how he wrote the story. William S. Burroughs. How he wrote the story. Why did he write the story? We don't know. When did he write the story? Probably in the 60s, maybe even earlier. Yeah, we know he wrote it in Morocco, most of it, but it's almost complete typewriter gibberish. It's not quite, because there is some train of thought to it, but it's not really worth understanding. This is, you know how like Jackson Pollock has those paintings with all this shit on them where he just goes like that, and you're like, hey, why would anyone like that? If you feel that way about Jackson Pollock paintings, don't watch this movie, please, because this is that type of thing. You're not meant to understand it as much as you are meant to move through it and feel it. Feel it. Feel it. I don't know. That's my best Yoda. Oh, by the way, I got an excellent impersonation that I forgot that I have. Okay, it's John Travolta. Hey, will you watch that? Yes, he landed his John Travolta with perfection. Ooh, Sandy. and that's my Grace of John Travolta. Those are the only two I got. But anyway, The Naked Lunch is, again, an adaptation of a book. And it is a very, very good book, as I said before. One of the best of the 20th century. This is the interpretation of it. It's hard to explain because, again, I've explained most of it. It is visually stunning. I wouldn't say appealing. He does talk to bugs as he writes the book, so it's not the world's most appealing film to watch visually. But it is very, very interesting. I did show this to a pharmacist when I worked at Walmart. I said, "Hey, buddy." He said, "Hey, Jeremiah." I said, "Hey, do you want to watch a really cool film?" He goes, "Sure. Why not?" So I gave him Naked Lunch. He was not impressed with it. But the reason I did is because there's a pharmacist that gives him, in the story, bug powder to shoot up so he can write the story. So I thought maybe, he would understand the importance of, if I ever came to him and said, "Hey, I need some bug powder," he would be able to provide it to me, just in case. But it didn't seem like he would be the pharmacist that would choose that line of work. Regardless, I don't really know how to explain the film, so this is going to be kind of a short one, okay? Because I can't really explain this film. It's not really meant, even the film itself is not really meant to be explained. Again, I gave you the story, which was this is how he became the writer of this story, is basically it. It was made in the 90s. It's a good movie, and it's visually stunning. Is the best way to put it. Also metaphysically stunning. It talks a lot about the nature of reality and our perceptions of reality. There's my man. He's come up here, the official puppy dog of Cult Classics, the Sterkel Sessions. Thanks to Jason, who named it. All right, but I think the best joke of this movie of all time comes from The Simpsons. It is when Bart and Milhouse and what's that kid that always beats up on him? Not Jimbo, the other one, the one that's I think in Lisa's grade because she sometimes has a crush on him. Nelson. Nelson. I believe it was just those three, but I don't know. There could have been more. They skip school one day and they're walking around and they go, "Hey, let's go see a movie." I'm like, okay, and they're like, "We want to see a rated R movie," and they go, "Wow, The Naked Lunch." So they walk into it, and then they walk out, and then Nelson goes, "I think that movie could have been named something else." That's a good joke. That is a good joke. All right. Anyway, I don't really know how to talk about it. I mean, I could talk about its shot structure and the way it bends the metaphysical realities through music and ambiance and the idea of the Kafka-esque quality of them shooting up bug powder and how he's an exterminator that slowly slips into madness and heroin addiction while writing this story. I could talk about all that, but then you would be like, "Hey, I want to watch this movie," and that would be good. So maybe I should talk about that. It's basically the story. Like, he starts off as a bug exterminator with the bug powder. Okay, then he starts shooting it up because his wife recommends, and it's a real Kafka high. So he starts shooting it up, and he begins writing The Naked Lunch. Then he moves to Morocco, where he shoots up more and more of it, and then he starts getting involved in other drugs. Again, I don't know. There's some kind of centipede-esque body that he shoots up or maybe smokes. I can't remember. Like I said, not visually appealing, visually stunning. And just continues to write and write and write until he is finished with it. He also goes to the Inner Zone, a place that he most definitely went into in the actual book when he was writing. A place of mystery, a high mystery. What is the Inner Zone? What does it mean? You'll have to watch the movie to find out. It doesn't really explain it. I'll give you a cliff note. But, what do you think, pup? Would you watch The Naked Lunch? Hell no! That's garbage! I'd rather have it wipe my buttski. Alright, good. That's my film critic. Again, this is a movie that is not for everyone. In fact, it is for very few people. There's maybe 10% of the film audience that would watch this, and of them, maybe 5% would enjoy them. And of them, only 3% maybe would know that it was a really good classic film. Okay? This is not for everybody. So what I'm saying is, if you're not 97% of the film population, perhaps this is not the film for you. The reason I recommend it is because it is a very good film. You should watch it. If you want to understand how to set mood and ambiance, this is the film for you. this is definitely the film for you. This is the moodiest film I have ever seen in my entire life. I can't think of a moodier film than this. Um, it's kind of like an Eagles song in a way. You know how Eagles were known for setting the mood? Like when you hear the beginning of Hotel California, you're like, man, I don't know what Hotel California is, but it must be this feeling. Or whatever. You know what I mean? But you get what I'm saying. But that's kind of like what this is. You're like, I don't know what the naked lunch is, but I'm sure it's how I feel right now. All right. Anyway, I don't want to. Hey, Betty's here. I told you she always comes. She always comes. She just got the dog over here, so she wants to go. Get her now. Get him now. Oh, they're fighting over me. That's not surprising. But anyway, so I just wanted to let you know kind of how that all worked, and that you should definitely watch the movie. It is highly good. I would imagine this one's a very obscure movie to find. So what I would definitely recommend is that you oh, hold on, let me turn that off for a second. Is that you try to find it on maybe Amazon's movie lists, or oh, I don't know. Blah, 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 blah. Voodoo may have it. I'm not 100% sure, but you have to go pretty deep on this one. I would imagine they both probably have it, but sometimes they don't. So what I would recommend is you're going to have to look around a little bit for it. And it's going to be kind of hard to find. But I guarantee you, if you just type in Bing, watch Naked Lunch, besides getting a ton of food pornography, you're going to get how to find the movie. It's probably somewhere. And if you do happen to find a link where you can watch it, please put it on my YouTube page. I would appreciate that. And until then, I'll be Zen.